All right, I wanted to film a little video about how I make a V60 pour over coffee at home. Um, this is going to be filmed with brewing the coffee with my right hand and holding the camera, which is my cell phone, with my left hand. So sorry if you get a little seasick. Um, just to start off, I have some fun equipment here that is basically what you would see in a professional third wave coffee shop, specialty coffee. I've worked in that industry for over a decade now. I love it. Absolutely love coffee. Oh, you can see that coffee is so sweet. There's a little fly buzzing around it. I'm here in Central Florida. There's just bugs and animals everywhere. You never know what you're going to get, even inside your own house. So, to start off, I have hot water. I set my kettle to 210 because I know it's going to lose a little heat on the way over. I also have my ground coffee. This is 20 grams of grounds. And it's a nice, I would say, a medium to fine grind. You're just going to see what recipe tastes best for you. Today I'm using some coffee I bought at my work. It's called Kanini, and it is from Rwanda. It's really delicious. It's from Manhattan Coffee Roasters, which is a roastery based in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. It's our guest roaster right now at my job. So I picked up a bag and I'm going to do some brewing. So we'll start off, of course, by wetting all the paper on the filter because you don't want your coffee to taste like paper. And then we're going to, of course, get rid of that water at the bottom. I like to give it a swirl because it kind of heats up the container, and you always want as warm of a vessel as possible if you're doing some hot brewing. So we'll set that back down on our scale. This is an Akaya Pearl. I love this thing. I've had it for a couple of years now. I use it all the time. So let's check that I know how to measure coffee still, that we didn't lose anything in the grinder. 20.4, that's just right. We want it to be right around 20, but I'm happy with that. So my water's ready. My rinse water is dumped out, and I have my grounds on the top. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to change the angle just a little. So I'm going to bloom right now with about 50 grams of water. This, you want it to be as close as you can. Oh, I was right on, yeah. But it's really not going to ruin your coffee if you're a little bit over or under. So now we're going to wait to the 45-second mark. Talk a little bit about this cute plant I have going. I have a few of these. I planted it in an El Pato can because I just think those cans are so cute. And that is a succulent. I believe the common name is dedos, like fingers in Spanish, which is pretty cute. Now at the 45-second mark, we're going to go up to 150 in the grams. So we're paying attention to both time and weight. Keeping a nice loose wrist, staying comfy, not straining ourselves. Now this part isn't really controlled by time as much as it's controlled by the level in the bed of your coffee. So I'm just watching right now. I know with my grind size right now, it's right around the 120, 125 mark that I'm going to want to pour again, because that means I have room for another 60 grams. You just don't want to pour, excuse me, you just don't want to pour past your original pour point. Or the water can basically just get around the coffee and go down the sides of the wall of the filter. At least that's how I have been taught. I know there's a lot of brew theory out there, and this is just a brew method that I really like, that I've learned at a company I worked at recently, and I just think it turns out pretty good. So I like using this recipe at home. So I just took us up to 260, and we're just basically looking for enough room to add pulses of about 50 to 60 grams of coffee, or sorry, of water. And our final yield is going to be 320 grams. This does make a fairly small cup of coffee, but I think that it's really good. It's kind of the perfect amount for me. I really like this recipe because it's strong without being super overpowering, and you really do get a lot of great flavors. Ideally, you would want this to finish dripping in right around the 3-minute mark where we're at right now. I haven't brewed at home in a few days because I've had shifts at work, and I get free coffee there. So I like to save the coffee bag I bought for my days off or for days when my husband wants coffee at home. So this one is going to run just a little long. Of course, I'm going to drink it. Duh. But usually I like to have it finish around like no longer than 3.5 minutes. So we're going to be just like the teensiest bit over extracted here, but as you can tell from the bag, I have already enjoyed a few cups of this coffee at home. So I know it's still going to be delicious, and that's about it. So I like my coffee with just a little bit of half and half. So that's how I'm going to make it. I feel like pour overs are so much better if you don't add sugar or like sweetened creamer to them, just because if you're using a really delicious complex coffee like this, it should just taste so good on its own. I forgot to mention also that this is a naturally processed coffee, so that does mean that it's going to tend to have a little bit more sweetness, just because that coffee cherry was allowed to ferment around the bean, which is actually like the seed of the fruit. So yeah, this is a sort of some hybrid content for our channel. We wanted to talk mostly about plants, but I think that you can't think about plants without thinking about how interconnected plants are in our life. I mean, we have everything that we eat, everything that we see in the natural world. It's all there. So I think that talking about coffee to me is kind of right on the money. I'm going to be kind of sprinkling in some content with like cooking, coffee content, and then definitely just talking about my plant projects and doing some videos also about the natural beauty of Florida. I just moved here about 2 months ago now, and I really love it here. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so it's definitely quite different culturally, environmentally. There's a lot of different factors, and I'm just still getting used to everything. But overall, it's been great, and I'm excited to share and record just like some memories of my first, little bit of time here. So I'm going to give it a taste black. I like to do that with pour overs as well, just to kind of like critique my own method. It is definitely a little over extracted. When I've had this one a little bit more, quote unquote, on recipe, I've found it to be a bit sweeter and brighter, but like I mentioned before, I do like to add a little cream anyway, so I think that should be fine. This profile that I've created here should be just fine. So, all right, well, I'm going to enjoy my coffee, do some reading, and then work on some plant projects. Bye.